Yeah, it's being live streamed now. You can start.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good
Morning.
morning. And I'm so glad that today we are discussing a very important topic, that is strengthening relationships. And then with Valentine's Day around the corner, I feel this is so important
Exactly.
because relationships are on the focus, and everybody's going to talk about friendships and Valentine and all that. Just to try to bring in the context, what we have been doing is we tried to do one model of or a framework of well-being, mental well-being or life well-being, and that was PERMA, where in the initial 3 sessions, probably 2 sessions, we talked about positive emotions, and in the previous session we talked about engaged life. And today we are going to talk about the R of PERMA, that is relationships. And what about relationships? So we want to look at strengthening relationships. Yeah. Now, when we talk about strengthening relationships, the first thing that comes to my mind, or probably makes me curious, is to ask you, are relationships really important? What do you guys say?
Since we are society creatures, I think relationships make the foundation of our life.
Yeah, I so much agree. You know, we are wired for being social.
Yes.
The day we were born, we were not alone. We were connected to our parents or our larger family, and we saw people around us, right? Maybe it was, even if it was the doctor. So
Yeah.
we are wired to be social. And probably keeping that in mind, what, why are relationships important? Yeah, one is that we are wired to be social. What else could be going into making relationships important? Okay, quickly, what comes to my mind is probably other people matter. How much ever we try to say, focus on myself, I'm going to focus on myself, and it's only I who matter, and it is my personal journey. And whatever we talk about, I think what I have seen until now is that other people do matter, and they are crucial for our happiness and well-being, right? When we talk about certain basic needs, one of our basic needs, even if we go back to the Maslow's pyramid, one of our needs is social needs. And relationships actually fulfill our social needs, and it widens our social circle.
Right.
Yeah. So there is a need for connection that we have. There is a need for love. There is a need for emotional and physical contact that we have, right? Which only comes from relationships. And now that we are a part of the community, after we are on this earth, we are somewhere a part of one community, and we have a network of support. So people around us, they basically bring about and maintain a balance in our life. They help us build a perspective, and we feel more joy by sharing, caring, and loving. And that makes me actually bring us back to this adage that a problem shared is a problem halved, and happiness shared is happiness squared. So where is this relationship taking us to? Basically, relationships build positive emotions, build positive relationships, give us positive connections, which build positive emotions and give us a lot many positive life experiences. Yeah. So when we are talking about relationships, I am now curious to know, do we all agree that relationships from all these points of view are very important? Yeah. So
Yes.
I'll have to ask you a lot of things. Please feel free to not have your camera on. I'll be grateful if you can have your camera on, but do reply to whatever curiosities I have around this session today. So this brings me to another question. Which are your important relationships? What do you think?
The immediate ones, the family, parents,
So who are
and
there in the family?
the parents, the siblings,
Mm-hmm.
And later on, like when you get married, then your spouse, your children,
Mm-hmm.
the extended family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And anybody else, what are your important relationships? Which are your important relationships? We have parents, we have children, we have siblings, we have larger family. Anybody else?
We have friends and colleagues and neighbors.
Yeah, friends, colleagues, neighbors, right? Awesome. Who else? Who else makes our important relationships? Who else composites our important relationships?
Can we say relationship with food, relationship with other things like that, emotions, and is that part of it or no?
Yeah, we can look at it that way. Beautiful relationship, the relationship that we have with our food, with other parts of our lifestyle, maybe the relationship that we have with our uh, physical fitness. Why not?
Also environment.
Environment, awesome. And where does that link that relationship to, like my relationship to food, my relationship to environment, to physical fitness, to exercising, where does it point towards? Your relationship to actually what?
To our own self.
Absolutely, so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this up. You know, one of the most important relationships that we have is our relationship with ourselves. And then I might also want to point out that while I'm just talking about importance of relationship, I think our colleagues, our peer, our higher authorities, they're also important for us. We cannot ignore them in our lives. Yeah. So quickly, considering that these relationships are really important for us, you know, I'd quickly like you to take a pen and paper, and maybe you can take like 30 seconds, grab a pen and paper, and maybe the first thing that I feel is self. You know, someone just said self is very important. So we have our important relationships that I've tried to list down. And based on the importance of this relationship, I have certain questions here for you all. Okay, what is the relationship between you and them? So when I say you and them, I also mean you and you. How much knowledge of character strengths do you have about yourself? How clear are you about what I mean by character strengths is probably personality traits, about the values, the beliefs, the innate personality. How much are you aware about what this personality, innate traits, values, beliefs that you know about your parents, about your children, about your siblings, friends, peer groups, colleagues, higher authorities? How well or how confident are you that you know about their character traits? How confident are you that you have enough knowledge about your own character traits? How clear are you? How confident are you that you know yourself enough? Okay, there is another criteria. How much of admiration and appreciation do you have for yourself, for your parents, children, siblings, friends, colleagues, peers, higher authorities? How mindful are you when you are communicating about yourself, when you're communicating with, or probably even with yourself, right? How you think about yourself, how you display yourself, how you present yourself. How mindful are you? How mindful are you when you are communicating with your parents, your children, your siblings, and all these other people who are so important for you? How much of casual interactions do you do with all these important people of your life? How much do you keep doing back and forth? You keep changing your decision. What I mean by back and forth is you keep changing your decision. You have one opinion about a relationship today, and you have another opinion, absolutely new, different opinion about that relationship the other day. And then you again change and say, no, okay, I was wrong, and Like, I think this is what I think about this person, about the relationship that I share with this person. In spite of all the conflicts, how much of a well-wisher are you with this person? With all these important people that are there in your life. How many positive memories you think you have with all these important people in your life? How many times you take actions to boost and express gratitude towards all these important people in your life? So what I can do is I can help you to take maybe 3-4 minutes. And if you can just rate these relationships on the basis of these criteria on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is the least knowledge that you have about self and 10 is the highest knowledge that you have. 1 is the least admiration and appreciation that you show. 10 is the highest admiration and appreciation that you show. 1 is least mindful communication that you have. 10 is maximum mindful communication that you have up till unto your potential. Casual interactions, 1 is like you hardly have any casual interactions. 10 is like you have regular casual interactions. 1 is you don't do much of back and forth. 10 is you do a lot of back and forth. 1 is in spite of all the conflicts, you really don't wish well to these people. And here, in spite of all the conflicts, 10 says that you wish a lot of well to these people. 1 is you hardly have any positive memories. 10 is you have a lot of positive memories. 1 is you don't think of boosting and expressing gratitude to these important people, whereas 10 says that you do it on a regular basis. Please take a couple of minutes and just rate whichever important relationship you think is. You might not feel that these are all very important. So whichever relationship you think is important for you, you can use the scale for that. Are we done? Or you think you need more time? Have you thought enough?
Yeah, I've gone through them all.
Mm-hmm. Any reflections, anything that you'd like to share? Of course, this is a safe and secure space. Maybe we are just discussing something that's very close to our heart. So we do not judge anyone, and we keep this to be a very non-judgmental and confidential space, all of us who are present here.
So what I'm finding is most of my markings are 5, 6.
Mhm.
Positive memories is of course 9 and 10. They are going that way, but the others are mostly in the level of 5, 6.
And what does that make you think?
That I don't know my people all around very well.
And they are supposed to be your important relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Because actually, I'm at that stage of life where my parents have gone, my children are settled in their own lives. So,
And what's concerning you the most about which criteria?
uh, it's not concerning me. It's making me feel okay that yes, life is moving on. They're also moving on.
Yeah, yeah. So you're kind of making peace with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have some kind of that feeling where you'd like to take that scale from 5, 6 to maybe
Yes.
7, 8?
Yes, that is coming that I should put in more effort to talk to who all are there at least.
Yes, yes. That's amazing. That's
Mhm.
amazing. Thank you so much, Meenu, for opening up.
Yes.
Anybody
Yeah.
else? Like maybe we can take 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who would like to just share whatever your thoughts have been around your discovery about your important relationship? Anybody else? Okay. So we'll just move on and like we just discussed that we would like to take this uh, goal from wherever we are to a point upward. And what is it that we can do? Now, I really don't want to. I was actually planning this session, and I was thinking, what can be done? What can be done to make it really interesting, and more than interesting, I would say valuable. So, I was just thinking about, okay, these are the problems and these are the things that relationships surface, and this is what generally goes on among relationships, whether it is personal relationships or professional relationships. And and of course, even relationship with yourself. And then I just realized that we all know what the problems are. We all are aware about the problems. We don't want to get sucked into problems on a Monday morning. But what we want to talk about is how can we progress on our relationships? What are the solutions to probable solutions to that problem? And how about looking for solutions within controllable factors rather than expecting other people to change and contributing to making this important relationship, a better relationship? What say? Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of you, right? You can actually, even write in a chat box. You can just give a heads up on the emojis. I have no problem. But guys, please, I don't think I will be able to, go ahead with this presentation with a monologue. I really need a lot of inputs from you guys because I want to know how you are, what are your coping mechanisms? Probably that's not the right question. What are your healthy coping mechanisms? So while we are thinking that this is what we are looking for, we want a strong relationship, but in spite of this strong relationship, though our goal is to have a strong relationship, what is it that we can do so that we can probably building a strong relationships, in my mind, and even when I talk to others, it is like climbing a mountain. It is like a goal. Building a relationship is like a goal. Maintaining and sustaining a relationship is like a goal. Strengthening a relationship is like a goal. And whenever I have my coaching conversations, most of the times people get defensive. People feel, oh, it's not my fault that this is happening. It takes two to tango. It is also that other person who is not equally involved. And again, that coaching conversation takes a turn because then we end up discussing that, but others are not in our control. What is in our control that we can do so that it is our goal to strengthen the relationship and we can achieve that goal. And that makes me look into whatever we have within us, and that is our own strengths. What are the various strengths that we have? So if we can just peek into our own strengths that we already have within us, it's just that we've not tapped into them. And if we can tap into our innate strength of curiosity. What do you think is curiosity? Here, I'm not talking about nosy curiosity. I'm talking about open curiosity, curiosity to know a person, to understand a situation, to find out what exactly it is between the two of us. I'm talking about that curiosity. I'm not talking about a nosy curiosity. So how do you think you people are curious? Are we on the, do we understand the meaning of curiosity, or you think you need more explanation?
In trying to understand what is going on in their lives.
Yeah, definitely. So this is beautiful, trying to understand what's going on in their lives. So it means that you are genuinely taking interest in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and interest is a very important criteria of being curious.
Right.
You're genuinely interested in this relationship and in the person, be it a boss, be it a colleague, be it your partner, be it your friend. But if there is a trouble in that relationship, means you're taking interest in saving the relationship and then strengthening the relationship. You're open to all experiences. Curiosity actually means that you're open to all experiences and you are okay to have new knowledge about the person. And you are fine to take an ongoing experience, to take interest in this ongoing experience. You want to figure out how your relationship and why is this relationship like this? And for that, you definitely need to be interested in the relationship. You want to ask questions to yourself and to the other person related to solution focus rather than having a problem focus. You want to engage in that new experience of being solution focused and ask questions around how to actually bring about solutions in this relationship.
Right.
You're actively recognizing and pursuing challenges. You're looking for opportunities and you're seeking out new knowledge and taking action so that you are able to feed your desire of whatever you want out of this relationship so that the relationship keeps growing. That's curiosity. And this is one strength, curiosity is one strength that actually drives individuals to make discoveries and explore the boundaries of that relationship. The moment there is a problem or you're hit upon a problem into a relationship, if we are not critical about what's wrong with the relationship, where the problem is, where did the other person hurt you, or where did the other person mismanaged you, instead of focusing on that, if we start tapping into curiosity by doing all that we just discussed right now, I guess you're taking the first step to strengthening your relationship. Any follow-up and any experience that you have that you've done something similar, taken interest to actually bring about a solution to strengthen the relationship? Any experience? Okay. So then what is the next step to actually reaching our goal? The next step is don't assume, ask. And when I say judge, here I don't mean to be judgmental about other person, but judgment is a strength. And what is that strength telling us? Judgment is a strength that is telling us that we need to know more. So curiosity and judgment, they are cognitive strengths where basically they are helping you to collect knowledge about the situation and the person who is included in that situation. And when you are asking questions, you are basically listening also. So knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. So judgment actually means here, when you are using the strength of judgment, okay, you're not assuming what could have gone wrong with the situation, what could have been wrong with the person, what would that person be thinking. You are not assuming, but you are helping each other understand to find the truth of the problem. You're asking questions, you're collecting and correcting information, you're knowing what the truth is. Most of the times, when again, I'd go back to my experiences in coaching sessions or coaching conversations. I always want to find out, or I always want to point out that is this your perception or is it the truth? We don't know the truth. We don't know what's going on with the other person. We are assuming that's just our perception. So what can we do to find the truth? To know the truth?
Be curious.
Yeah, be curious and then be curious by asking questions, knowing each
Right.
other. And when I say use the strength of judgment, it is don't have impressions. Don't use your stereotypes. You're curious, but then are you making enough effort to find the information related to the person and the situation? Don't talk about first impressions. Don't bank your conclusions on previous impressions or the stereotypes that you hold in your mind, or probably the quick glances that you've had and you just read through the glances, or if you have some preconceived notions. That's not the truth. Judgment as a strength motivates you to find the truth, to know the truth. And one has to be very persevering and always evolving in terms of having their own reflections, introspection, analysis, and be completely open-minded to other people's point of view. And when you do these things, it actually means that you're tapping into your strength of judgment. So you're not assuming, you're not banking your conclusion about the person and the situation based on your preconceived notions, based on your stereotypes, your impressions, your beliefs, but you are actually very perseverant about that important relationship. And you definitely want to reflect on what that person has said or what has happened between the two of you. You also want to introspect and check your role, what's gone into the situation on your behalf. You want to analyze, and you are very open-minded about what other person has to say. Maybe you can also go a step ahead and take a 360-degree view about the situation or about the person. Maybe if you want to really know more. Yeah, so you basically, whenever things go wrong, you basically want to look at every detail. And if this looks like a lot of tasks to you, then believe me that you have the strength to do it. It's there within you. It's just that you've never tapped into it. So you look at every details of the situation. You don't take other person's beliefs about the things for granted, but instead you go deeper, you dig deeper into the person, you ask questions, you take the help of curiosity. And there is where you might be able to find some truths. And in case you feel that, okay, this is a lot of work, then I would like to give you a nudge by helping you ask certain questions to yourself. What are my beliefs to this situation? Or what are my beliefs to this person? And what is it about my thinking that may not be true? So once you have certain reflections, then probably you are dismissing all the things that are going wrong, and you are inching towards the top of the mountain. That's your goal. Secondly, the way you have perceptions about others, you might want to think that what would the person, that other person from another culture or another belief have something to say about my thoughts? The way you are clashing about the thoughts and beliefs with other person in your mind, they might also be clashing with you in their mind. So maybe that reflection might also help. You might also think, what is it that I'm missing, forgetting, or not including in understanding this relationship, in understanding the situation, which is not helping me to look, because it's very important, and I want to work on it. So these are the two strengths, which basically are cognitive strengths, and they really help you to do a lot of groundwork about the relationship. And it helps you take interest in this relationship and find the truth around the situation and the importance of the relationship. Because these relationships are very important to you, you're doing that much of homework for these relationships. And then you again move ahead by being a little more prudent and not paranoid. What I mean by not paranoid is you're not crushing that relationship. You are controlling your emotions, your words, your thoughts, and you are not crushing that relationship at the drop of the hat by speaking whatever that comes to your mind, by acting the way you want to. It is more to do with temperance. You're moderating your thoughts, you're moderating your emotions, you're keeping calm so that you can carry on. You know that every relationship is going to have challenges. Like my boss didn't like my work, and there is a threat to your self-worth, and there is a threat to your ability, and the world is crushed for you because you think you don't deserve this job. So all of a sudden, one reaction of your boss, which is a very important relationship, has actually hijacked your mind. Your partner says, don't wear this other thing for the party. I want you to be presentable. And again, your mind goes for a toss. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, my partner doesn't appreciate me, doesn't respect me. And you go into the spiral of all the negative thoughts that one can really end up into. So there is where the strength of prudence actually helps you support your very important relationship. It motivates you to moderate your thoughts, to moderate your feelings, whatever you're feeling about yourself and the situation at that point of time. It inspires you to keep calm and think with a very calm mind. It motivates you to not snap back at the person, but it actually motivates you to keep calm and think about what the person might actually mean to say. So whenever we have these kind of small and big obstacles among important relationship, it's basically you can use prudence for planning and persevering to navigate all the small and big challenges or barriers that are on your relationship journey. All that it helps you to, prudence always keeps reminding you that you have to be careful with your words, you have to be careful with your actions. You cannot take undue risks. The way you do not take undue risk with your money, you cannot take undue risk with your relationships. Money is an investment, relationship is also an investment. You don't say or do things that might later be regretted.
I think it's a very essential ingredient,
Yeah,
prudence.
absolutely, absolutely. And we generally don't really think about prudence a lot in life. You know, we think, okay, I'm a very risk-averse person, or, you know, okay, I'm a risk taker. But no, there has to be moderation. Prudence is actually a strength that comes from moderation. So you cannot be a complete risk-averse, which actually takes away the spark out of you. You cannot be an absolute risk taker. I will say whatever I want to. I will do whatever I want to. I don't care. No, you don't care in the moment because your mind is hijacked. But then you are doing something that you're going to regret later. So you keep your long-term goals in mind while making short-term decisions. You feel very tempted to say something. You feel very tempted to snap back. Okay, you feel very tempted to give an explanation in air quotes, but of course you want to control yourself because you know that this might have a long-term impact, and you want this journey to go ahead for quite some years, right? You want to have a long-term relationship, and you want to have a great relationship. So, and one thing is that please, when you're controlling yourself, I want to also point out that please don't think that it is a timid it is making you timid. It's not about timidity, but instead it involves an intelligent and efficient perspective towards achieving major goals in life. You know, if your goal is to strengthen the relationship, then it's a very intelligent way. It's an emotionally intelligent way to deal with that important person. It's giving you a very effective perspective that it is in the moment that I'm feeling whatever I am. Tomorrow I might not, the next moment I may not. And it also helps you to reflect probably, or you may ask certain questions. How respectful you are towards this relationship. And if you're really very high on being respectful, then does it allow you to speak, think, and say, think, say, and do the way you are doing in the spur of the moment when you're not very happy? Does it justify your respect towards that relationship? How careful are you about the choices around that relationship? How conscientious are you about that relationship? Are you that you are just good to that relationship on the surface level and not behind the back? Or are you genuinely good or probably conscientious, whether on the face or not on the face, everywhere? Are you conscious? Are you conscientious about that relationship? Are you seeing some long-term and short-term goals with that relationship? How far you want to go with that relationship? Based on that, probably prudence is going to really help you act in the moment in a very wise way and not get paranoid about it, and not probably do things, say things, think in a way that probably you might regret later. And then you want to inch ahead towards your goal, where I think this is the best part about relationship management or strengthening relationship, is like show gratitude, not attitude. And I love this, probably maybe because I'm high on gratitude. But gratitude is one strength which is related to meaning and connection. You know, what is it that you love about today? I love all the relationships that I savor today. And I want to keep loving the same relationships, and I want to keep savoring the same relationships even tomorrow. And if I want to do that, then obviously I keep my strength of gratitude on the forefront. And if I show gratitude, it is actually helping me see meaning, and it is helping me connect more with that important relationship, irrespective of whichever that relationship is, whether professional or personal. And you know, the most important part about gratitude is that it fosters the character strength of love and kindness. And therefore, it's very closely associated to empathy and connection to others. Anybody wants to say anything? I'd like to take a pause here so that I know how you people feel about the character strengths that we've been discussing so far.
There's a statement in the chat box if you would like to read it.
Yeah, please, yeah, sure. Isn't it a job if a professional to sort out relationship issue? I'm sorry, Meenaji, if you can just explain this, maybe you can unmute and explain. I didn't understand.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you were saying, do your close one, if like listen, be curious about them, know their relationship. So, you know, like it takes a lot, because if you are in a big family and a lot of drama going on, not in my case for sure, but what I observe in other society and communities.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's a job, like people, you know, you said, be calm, be composed, listen. But at the same time, I think the professional training, I don't have an experience, but I believe that professionals are trained that way. But like otherwise, you become partial or biased towards one person. If a couple is having some argument, you always have. If it is a blood relation, blood is thicker than water. You will lean towards your blood. I mean, this is my observation. I may be right, I may not be right, but this is what I feel, that when it comes like relationship, sorting out relationship, ultimately it narrows down to like professional. I think they are trained that way. This was my just observation, so I wrote it instead.
So what I hear is, what you're saying is that if you are a working professional, you can handle relationships back home in the family in a much better way.
Not that way. Like if there is any conflict going on, if we find out in our close relations, but then like even if we are mature enough, like people who are not trained professionally may end up not taking the right decision, like what is required for them.
Okay,
That's what.
okay. So what you're saying, people who don't have the opportunity to attend such forums and have a dialogue and discussion and have some knowledge, uh, that is what you mean by training themselves professionally. Oh, okay. Of course, I do agree with you. I'm on the same page that unless you are not aware, how do you tap into something that you have? Obviously, I totally agree with you. It is as simple as like, if I want hair growth, okay, I don't know that I have to put certain serum and multivitamin and iron and vitamins, multivitamins. If I know that I have to add these things to my hair, I'm going to have a beautiful hair growth. But if I'm not aware of it, I'm going to just make peace with it and I'm going to go on with that bad hair. Yeah, I cannot do much about it. I totally agree with you. So while we are talking about these character strengths, which are helping us uh, to achieve the goal of strengthening our relationships, I very consciously had this one person at the bottom of the mountain, and I do not have two people or three people, because I want everyone, probably, my invitation to everyone um, is to understand that these are the character strengths that are in each one of us. And if it is my goal to strengthen my relationships, then I have to tap into the character strengths that I already have within us. It's just within me. It's just that I haven't done it. But how do I know whether I have it within me or not? And that comes to my relationship with myself. Do I know myself enough? Now, probably, for that also, I would like to justify the title of the series, that is Consciously Positive. You're very conscious about yourself. You're very consciously noticing yourself, the way you think, the way you speak, the way you behave or act into this world. And what is the medium of thought processes? Is it too negative or is it too positive? What kind of words do you use on a daily basis? Are they full of gratitude? Are they full of kindness? Are they full of curiosity to know things around you, people around you? Or do you base your daily life on certain assumptions, certain paranoia actions? You keep throwing attitude. You have your own beliefs and preconceived notions that you want to base your relationships on, or your thought processes on, your words on, your actions on. You know the stark difference between the two. So the first step is become conscious about who you are and how you think and how those thought processes make you feel. And based on those feelings, how those feelings make you act into this world. Probably that is the first step to understanding yourself. Are you a curious person? Think about it. Are you a curious person, or you are generally very critical about everything around you? You're generally very negative about everything around you. You have your own conclusions and you are not bothered to know the real truth. Is that happening with you? Are you super judgmental, or do you just throw your opinions around? Do you just keep assuming things? Or do you really care to find out the truth? What is your general tendency? Do you feel very frightened or taken aback or hit upon when people say something negative about you? Do you take it very personally? Or do you want to basically give yourself a chance to think from a long-term relationship point of view and act upon that situation based on your long-term process or based on your prudence? And in spite of all that has been happening, do you show gratitude towards whatever you have around? And that's why probably, I also, I want to take you back to this. Yeah, or maybe this. That's why, I also had very choicest criteria over here that in spite of all the conflicts, do you wish well for that person? In spite of what's going on, do you think about the positive memories that you've had with this person? In spite of whatever the current situation is, do you have the genuine admiration and appreciation for that person? In spite of whatever challenging they have told you about them, about yourself, do you care to have that casual conversation with them, which acts as a bridge between your hit upon self-worth and their true intentions to actually not do that, which only comes out through casual conversations, and which might turn into a serious conversation? But then, or do you just talk work, do you when your spouse comes home, or when you meet your spouse, do you just talk about electricity bills, children, and whatever is important for you? Or do you also care to have casual conversations? When you meet your colleagues, when you meet your boss, do you just talk about what's happening in the work? Or do you also talk about how you saw one lady crossing the road and tumbling up the tomatoes on the road, and you help them to gather the tomatoes and put them in the basket? Or do you also care to talk about how you felt about the sunshine today, how you don't like pets, but when other pets are taken for a walk, how much in admiration you are about that cuteness in the dog or the cat or whatever? Do you have these kind of casual conversations? Do you tell them how much your children nag you? It's okay to have these kind of conversations with your colleagues. It's totally okay. It's also okay to have certain conversations in your home front about, how you feel about waiting in the queue in a salon. You might feel that, oh, these are all small talks and they are very petty conversations, but yeah, they're very important. They actually build connections. They actually help you build connections. So when we're talking, I mean, are we on the same page? That is, I don't want to give a lecture. What do you guys think? Are we on the same page? Meena ji, you had come up with this professional training, but it is like, even if we start observing ourselves on a daily basis about what our approach is towards life and relationships, we'll be able to have a lot of awareness around how we are. Yeah.
So it is more about bringing mindfulness in all the aspects of your life.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Yes, yes. So that's how we are different from other species. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So if we talk about gratitude, we'll just come back to gratitude. Keep
Yeah,
an eye
please.
on the clock.
Yeah.
So when we say that we don't throw attitude, basically what actually it means is that sadly people feel that their partners do not appreciate them. We take our partners for granted. We take our relationships for granted. How many times do you think that you have gone and told your boss that I really appreciate the book that you're reading? I really appreciated the way you handled that conflict in the board meeting. How many times if you meet your boss in the lift, or your colleague who is an important colleague in the lift, and you exchange a few words, how much ever a small talk it is, it actually helps them feel that they are appreciated. But sadly, people feel that whoever that other person is, they don't appreciate them. They look at them in a very square way. And most relationships become dysfunctional, not because of one big thing, but rather a lot of little things that add up over a period of time. So this not being very conscious or mindful about these small requirements, or these small golden nuggets that go into a good relationship, not being mindful about them, but just being around with a very wrong attitude, to repeatedly feeling overlooked, repeatedly not feeling acknowledged, or repeatedly feeling taken advantage of. That even in friendships, feeling of being taken advantage of, they basically lead to this entire um, um, attitude problem. But instead of that, if you can express gratitude, and when it is not about how much money you are spending in a relationship or in a friendship, it's more to do about whoever has spent whatever, you are not making them feel that you are taking advantage of them, but you are expressing gratitude for whatever they have done for you. You're not going to become any less. Because when you express gratitude, it has a very positive impact on the giver as well as the receiver. It actually works as an emotional glue, and it makes the other person feel cared for, understood, and validated. So gratitude is that strong foundation. Probably it is the strong foundation, not just for the remaining two strengths that I'm going to talk about, but it also is a strong foundation for being having a very strong relationship. It actually makes you lead to being very kind to a person and not just being curt. And when I say kind, it is basically, kindness is an interpersonal strength. It is a strength that actually leads to compassion and love. Being kind actually means that you're committing to that person. You're helping them, you're supporting them, you're respecting them. How many people, again, I want to bring this to your notice very quickly, that in most of my coaching conversations, when it comes of being kind to a person, people say, okay, I did this much for them, I did that much for them, and I'm not expecting anything in return, but I'm sure they're not even grateful for what all I do for them. I'm like, okay, yes, but then kindness actually means that you give and forget about it. You don't expect anything in return. So they are like, yes, I'm kind and I do it, but then it disappoints me when they don't recognize my kindness. And then I want to bring it to their notice that kindness functions from the space of abundance, not from the space of reciprocation, not from the space of expectation. And kindness does not necessarily involve doing things for others. It also means that you are respectful towards others genuinely. You are respectful towards them in your words. You're kind with your words. If you are not just kind with your deeds. Most of the people feel being kind means having kind deeds. That's what we've heard right from our childhood. Be kind, share, be kind, give. It's not just about sharing and giving. It's also about speaking kind words. It's also about reciprocating to a very hot conversation in a very kind and a polite way, or in a very polite and a very noble way. That's also kindness. You're not hurting others by your words. That's also kindness. How much ever agitated you are from within, you take help of prudence, and you also mix kindness with prudence, and you say something sweet, you say something nice, you say something in a low tone, or maybe you can just leave the place in a very silent way. Silence is also kindness. Yeah. So if you have gratitude, what I feel is this kindness or this compassion or this empathy only basically is highly deep-rooted in gratitude. Only if you have gratitude for that relationship, you'll be able to foster kindness. And kindness and gratitude together is going to foster love. So give love and not lecture. What I mean to say is, loving a person, actually, there is this very typical phrase of Dunbar: falling in love will cost you 2 friendships. Okay, so love is not, why does it cost 2 friendships? Because both the people are actually now no more casual friends, but they're committed to each other. Now, if I just talk, there was one person who said relationship also means with work. Relationship also means with environment. You're falling in love with your work. You're committing to your work. You're committing to your environment. It could be a joint family. You're committing to your environment. It could be a very typical work culture. You're committing to your work. So you're no more indifferent about it, but you are falling in love with that work, with that environment, maybe with that person. And if we talk about person, okay, you're falling in love with yourself. And in spite of saying that, I'm not ignoring the self aspect, but I also want to say that love is not when two people just keep gazing at each other. Even if it is you yourself, I don't look into the mirror and keep gazing at myself. I don't just keep gazing. Love is not just two people gazing at each other, but when two people are looking ahead together in the same direction, then that is love. And what could be that direction? That could be long-term goals of that relationship. And that one of the long-term goals could be strengthening that relationship, going strong for a long duration. And believe me, relationships demand commitment. You know, most people weigh commitment against cost of investment, but it involves a lot of commitment, you know, and those who commit, they know that love is worth 1,000 friendships. So commitment is very important. Caring is, love is all about caring, reciprocating. And it is this care that actually leads to cure. Whatever troubles you have, if you just start having a very caring relationship, whether it is with self or with others, it actually leads to cure. It cures up all the small misunderstandings, the small hiccups, the small barriers, difficulties that you have in relationships. What else goes into love could be respect, admiration, making efforts to improve and develop because you're keeping an eye on your goal, having similar values and beliefs, working on your similar values and beliefs. So if you really have all these things going into love, then, you know, more than asking, more than expecting, what I mean by lecture is more than expecting, you didn't do this, you are supposed to do this. Also, there is the reciprocation. Instead of that, you start focusing on your own commitment, on your own caring behavior, on your own admiration, on your own goals of improving and developing that relationship. And that reciprocation will just come automatically. And if you have done this in your relationship, any one relationship, I really want to ask you a question. How many of your friends can call you at 3 a.m. in the morning in case of an emergency? If you think, even if you're putting in 50% of what we've discussed until now, you will have an answer. How many of your friends can call you at 3 a.m. in case of any emergency? Do you have a list?
That's really the $1,000,000 question, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Or do you just count them on the fingers, or you're not even able to do that? How many of your friends do you really feel comfortable seeking advice from? Think about it. We are so high on lecturing, we are so high on criticizing, we are so high on assuming. How humble, how modest are we that we feel that it's comfortable to go and ask for an advice without denting our self-worth?
I think that's why most relationships don't work out, because nobody's ready to put in all this effort.
Yeah, but then this is really not an effort. It's just that, you know, it is there within you. This gold mine is
Yeah,
there
it is
within
there,
you.
but we don't acknowledge or bring it out, and
Yeah.
it's more self-centered, like self-centric. Our relationships have
Yeah,
become
yeah,
more of that.
absolutely. Absolutely. So we have a lot of Facebook friends, we have a lot of connection on LinkedIn, and we have a lots and lots of, like, you know, social media friends. But when it comes to an invitation, how many names of acquaintances, I wouldn't even call them friends, call them acquaintances. How many names of acquaintances can you list for an invitation? If you are able to, you're working towards this goal of strong relationships.
Beautiful. Very beautiful.
It's an amazing journey if you
Mhm.
just focus on what is good within me. Our problem is, I personally believe, and this has been a problem with me also some years back, that our problem is that we focus on our weakness. We have the scarcity mindset. We become very problem focused. We have this negativity bias, which actually drains our energy. It undermines our confidence. And it strips all our motivation to achieve this goal of having a strong relationship. But instead, if we boost that culture of modesty within us, then basically, our relationship is going to improve with self and others. And we are definitely going to keep focusing on the strengths that we have so that we can strengthen our relationship. And I read this somewhere that you cannot be anything you want to be, but you can definitely be a lot more of who you already are. So if you have some 5 strengths, then you can be a lot more of those 5 strengths, and you can keep building on those strengths rather than focusing on something that you not are and chasing that and running after that and wasting time. So just very quickly, character strengths are very important. I think I've already discussed this in my previous sessions also. But when character strengths are at play, you basically focus on, your journey goes from what's wrong to what's strong. And what we say is, in making our relationship strong, we have to focus on what's strong within us. We have all these 24 character strengths within us. All that we have to do is we have to tap into, very importantly, the character strengths of prudence, curiosity, judgment, love, kindness, and gratitude. Even if we focus on these character strengths, probably we'll be able to build very beautiful relationships. And there's not going to be anything that is going to stop us from strengthening our already very important relationships. Why am I talking about this in this slide, though we've discussed is that I want to bring it to your notice that basically it is the virtues also that play a very important role. The virtue of wisdom. Humanity alone is not important in strengthening relationships. Okay, sometimes we feel that we have to be humane. No, it's not alone being humane. It's very important that we also tap into our cognitive strengths, wisdom strengths of curiosity and judgment. And then, of course, we also tap into our moderation strengths of temperance, that is prudence. We tap into our humanity strengths, definitely, that is interpersonal strengths of love and kindness. And then we tap into, in order to be able to tap in all these strengths, we tap into the virtue of transcendence, which basically gives us a strength that helps us to connect meaning and build connections with all the remaining people or all the remaining strengths, right? So where does this seed of strength go? The seed of strength goes into the thought. You have to begin from thought. Am I a wise person? Am I treating this relationship very wisely? And once you have the thoughts around whatever your goal is, probably only then you will be able to check. Let's say you want to show up on the strength of curiosity. Okay. So what is your thought when you want to tap into curiosity? You say, I wonder what this person thinks about me. So this is the thought that has come to your mind. If your boss has not treated you well, or if your spouse or your partner or your friend has not treated you well, the thought that comes to your mind is, I wonder what this person thinks about me. And then what kind of emotions level up because of that thought. So the moment the emotions, the focus is on emotions. If you sow the seed of negativity, then your thoughts you're going to get into the spiral of negative thoughts. But if you sow the seed of positive thoughts related to your strength, now you say that, okay, I want to be curious about the person. How is it that I can be curious about the person? I feel the need to know something new about the person. So the moment you have positive feelings, positive emotions, I feel the need to know something new about the situation. I feel the need to understand why this person has said this and from which space did it come. Does it have a reference point somewhere else? So you feel the need to know something new about the situation and the person. So your feelings are all curiosity related. And the moment your feelings are curiosity related, your behavior, your thoughts and your feelings together are going to lead to your actions. Your behavior will also lead to positive action. I will ask if she or he can tell me anything more about what the person has said. So instead of taking that one word as a snap, you want to basically then have a very nice dialogue with that person. What makes you think this? Can you tell me something more related to this? Can you help me sort this out in a better way? It's like your words are your actions. And then your body language is also your action. Are you keeping your body language calm, or are you gushing with emotions? And you're getting a little anxious and worked up. And of course, then what is the motivation? The motivation is that I'm going to talk to two more people about this and have a better idea about what this means. So you're basically bridging the gap between thoughts and actions, and your curiosity is motivating you to find something more. So that motivation or that goal could be anything. You want to know more, you want other people to know you. You know, it's like the goal could be of being known. The goal could be appreciating your thoughts, and your emotions are basically leading to your actions. But what is the motivation behind this? The motivation is appreciating and being appreciated. The motivation could be of accepting and being accepted. The motivation could be of resolving a conflict and repairing the relationship or repairing the situation. So only if you function on the strengths through your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior, then probably they turn out to be doing good results. But then where is the motivation? Is the motivation to know more? Is the motivation to resolve? Is the motivation to appreciate and accept? Is the motivation to repair? Is the motivation to strengthen? That motivation plays a very important role on how you actually show up in your relationship. Any questions, any follow-up, any reflections, I'm more than happy to take. I think I've gone overboard.
Yes,
10
a
minutes.
little
Sorry about
overboard.
that.
So it was a very insightful session, very interesting as well.
Thank you so much.
So I would like to invite anybody if they have any questions.
I like the idea of positive psychology, and because I'm a practitioner of myself, but when there are two people of the same race talking, I get anxiety. How do you overcome that?
So Rajmin, I suggest, or probably I invite you to take one step towards your own self. When you're so aware that you have anxiety rushing through when you talk to people, are you practicing certain mindfulness exercises so that you can?
Yes, breathing exercise
Mm-hmm.
and laughter yoga. Yeah.
You think they are impacting on this anxiety in a positive way?
And when two people get angry with each other, like my mom and caregiver, my caregiver didn't do anything, but my mom got angry, so I got affected, but I just keep silent. So that's what's affecting me.
So now that you're already aware that the outside environment is affecting you, can you consciously make use or create a pause? It is all about being very conscious and being very mindful about your emotions, creating a pause and making use of that pause where you have a conversation with yourself that this is an external environment. I have no role to play in it, and I have to keep calm. Do you feel that you are able to recognize that pause before you start feeling anxious?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that role of that pause is very important. Maybe you can just
I
utilize.
know because maybe when my caregivers talks to my caregiver in the same language, and I'm encouraging her to talk English because she's only 33 years old, and my caregiver is 51 this year. Like, and I'm wondering what's gonna happen because I want the most beautiful smile, and a lot of people are like coming and speaking English and wanting to meet me. So how do you overcome that?
So tell me one thing, now that you have spent 80 minutes on this goal of strengthening relationships, and we spoke about almost 6 strengths, which strength would you like to use or tap into so that you are able to handle that situation?
I would like to use the strength of gratitude.
Yeah. And you know what? Great. That's amazing. Why gratitude?
Gratitude and humor.
Gratitude and humor, yeah. And gratitude is already taking care of love and kindness. So you are actually putting 4 character strengths at play. That's amazing.
And also courage to deal.
Courage to deal, yeah, very true. And courage comes from maybe bravery. You're brave enough to
and
handle your
wisdom.
emotions.
Yeah, and wisdom too.
Amazing, amazing. You're already doing what is needed. That's so beautiful. I really want to appreciate you for that awareness and implementing that awareness. Awesome.
No, I'm not only implementing that within myself, but also implementing that within my family, because I have very few friends who come and visit me. One just canceled the appointment to next time, so every week I have. But unfortunately, this week I am not having anybody visiting me. Normally, I take a picture with my sash when people come. I'm gonna have the picture sash for 1 year, and it's gonna be so beautiful. So I'm telling all my family members and my caregivers, pledging them to actually practice smile, gratitude, and silence when you serve me. Because I'm teaching my caregivers whenever one people talk, you get angry for a while, then we're back to normal. Unfortunately, my junior one doesn't understand. So my senior one is okay with me. So my senior one is turning 51 this Thursday. So I'm going to show gratitude.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I think, Rajun, thank you so much for sharing all that. And thank you, Nirali ji, for an amazing presentation. We've gone much over time, so we'll have to wind up now. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. Thank you so much for coming over and I respect.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, everyone. And probably I can take questions on my email address.
Please. Anyone can directly send you mail or through WhatsApp also of our group. We can be in touch with you. Thank you.